Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture. This week, tonight, we have Mission Impossible, why it might be the best superhero franchise in theaters today. Yeah, you heard me. We'll debate. We want to know your top 5 superhero franchises in there. We're going to even debate what a franchise is. And really excited, it's part of our summer spotlight. We're actually spotlighting some under-the-radar companies you need to know about, starting with Vault Comics. We're welcoming Editor-in-Chief Adrian Wassel on to talk about all the cool stuff that they've got going on at Vault Comics. I am your host, Michael Dolce, alongside some dude who wandered into the studio today, Mr. Lord of the Radio, Hassan Godwin. Welcome back, sir.
Wait, if I just wandered in the studio, how do you know my name?
Because I'm all-knowing and all-powerful. Yeah.
I need to get that in writing.
I got empowered in the week that you were off. See what happened?
We'll
got really.
We'll see how long that lasts.
I also got kind of like recharged from going to San Diego, which was not an easy thing at all. So
really,
yeah,
did you talk about San Diego last week?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
You
It
did?
was. I mean, we talked about it the week before too. I mean, it's been a few weeks now, but I'm still.
You're still.
You know what? I am noticeably better now. and it's funny. I talked to a bunch of folks who went out to San Diego Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con is the biggest convention of the year. Biggest because it takes up the most amount of land, I think, is the best way to put it.
Yeah. It's still the biggest event. It's not the biggest show anymore, but I think it's the biggest event.
I talked to Bevan from Adultish. She was still recovering like a week and a half later. Jordan Gelber from Star Baby. She also went to San Diego. She was recovering. Tyler Kirkham has no problems, though, by the way. He's just that guy.
I'm good, too.
Yeah. Well, that's true because you didn't go. You didn't go. So
Is that the trick?
I think that's the trick.
I figured it out. All right, don't go next time.
Secrets of the Sire is brought to you by all of our beloved patrons. We have dedicated fans, Einar Peterson, Matt Beyer, Ashley Haikai, our program director, Stephanie Dolce, our executive producer, Steve Ovecki, Brian Phillips, and Christina Gillen, and our Uber fan, Christina Dolce. Check us out on Twitter, Michael_Dolce, Instagram, MDolce64, secretsofthesire.com. Go check us out on Patreon, too, and go support us over there.
Not Secrets of Desire.
No, it's not.
Secrets of the Sire.
It's not. So we had a really fun conversations earlier in the week because this is now the lull. You know, you got on me a few weeks ago for complaining about when Ant-Man came out versus when Deadpool 2 came out.
Right.
I'm complaining about the times that they're scheduling because right now we're in August. And it's still the summer.
There's plenty that comes out.
We got the Jaws movie coming out next
year.
But
you're kind of a snob.
You're
a little bit of a snob. That's the problem is because Totally Meg is coming out tomorrow, and that's totally a popcorn giant monster movie.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Totally going to be a bad movie.
It does not fit into what we talk about. It's really kind of out of the realm of what we talk about.
We need to broaden what we talk about.
So then we thought to ourselves, you know what? Mission Impossible's out. It's getting great reviews.
I say we start reviewing restaurants.
Maybe. Serafina's on Broadway.
Yes.
That guy's a stud, by the way. That bartender.
Yeah,
he is,
and he likes us. And he remembered like 2 weeks ago. And he was like, "Oh, you want this and you want that." I'm like,
"Dude, that guy is awesome." And he gave me a free beer tonight, so that's
it.
We're locked in. That guy's.
He did not give me a free beer though.
That's because he knew I did not want to stay for the extra beer because I wanted to make sure I was here and prepared.
Yes.
And you're like, forget preparedness.
So he did. Yeah.
I had a week off. I'm good now. I'm good. No, that guy's a stud.
Yeah, I like that guy.
But anyway,
we gotta get that guy something.
But
anyway, yes,
I did. I gave him a good tip. But I digress. So we started talking. We're like, okay, well, maybe.
Wait, you tipped him? I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh boy.
Okay.
He's gonna.
I'm just kidding.
He's gonna give me the biggest pizza in the world. He's just gonna throw a piece of garbage in front of me.
I'm like, hey, where's my menu? That's your menu.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
So we're sitting there like, all right, maybe Mission Impossible. So I go to see Mission Impossible because we're going to talk about it this week because we really don't have anything else to talk about.
Like you hear him roll this out, Sam, like it's like a casual thought. I just go see Mission Impossible because it wasn't like this calculated military operation.
Well, no. We said we should go see it because we have nothing else to talk about. Maybe we can do.
It was like a thing of urgency on Sunday. It's like, hey, did you see Mission Impossible?
Because we're going to talk about it because we got nothing else to talk about.
Get to the movies, Godwin.
But here's the thing. So we do. And all of a sudden I'm watching this, and as I'm watching the film, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is both the last great action franchise I think I've seen. Maybe Fast and the Furious, because that's kind of become like an action franchise now with The Rock and Jason Statham now fighting each other all the time. There's no like action movie franchise anymore. But then I'm thinking to myself, you know what? this is more like a superhero movie than anything else. It really is. There's people jumping through helicopters and getting. I mean, there's no reason that Tom Cruise gets hit by a car, gets thrown off his bike. He limps a little. I do appreciate that.
There's a couple of times that he limped because he really broke his ankle in real life.
I know.
So there's a couple of times where he's looking a little shaky on his feet in that film.
Right. And it's like, well, wait a minute though. This is how is he any different than Batman? I had this great conversation online today. How is Ethan Hunt any different than Batman besides he doesn't wear a costume? Oh man, see? Everyone's poo-pooing me. Everyone online poo-pooed me. I'm going to tell you right now. Bevan poo-pooed me. Rosie, my friend Rosie, he's like, what are you talking about? He wears a cape and cowl. I said, no, he obviously. But do we only categorize Batman as a superhero because he exists in a superhero world?
For the most part, he's like a super genius. Like he's like a Sherlock Holmes who basically can beat up a room full of people. Although the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes can also beat up a room full of people now too. So I mean, because that's the way movies are. But, well, yeah, of course, Ethan. But so is James Bond. James Bond's a superhero.
So they made a comparison
Bauer.
to that. Well, Jack Bauer is
yeah. I mean, they're all superheroes.
He'll do whatever he can take. Right. None
of these guys. I mean, half these guys would be like, "Oh man, that guy got away on the helicopter." Well, better check in. You know. In real life, that's how you would deal with it in real life. But these guys are like, I have to commandeer a boat and turn it into a plane to catch that helicopter.
Yes. But I mean, that's my point though. Like at the end of the day, look, a movie like Thor is a superhero movie. Actually, it's not even. That's like a god movie because they're all gods, right? But I would say something like Superman is a superhero movie, right? I mean, that's just blatantly a superhero movie, right?
Yes.
That's a pinpoint
Absolutely.
definition. Spider-Man is a pinpoint definition.
And Superman,
of a superhero.
oddly, was in this movie.
Yeah, which
strangely enough.
I know. See, it's got everything.
Strangely enough.
So I'm just thinking to myself, at the end of the day, how is this not a superhero franchise? It's 6 movies, and I threw this out there. I'll be fully upfront. I don't know if I 100% believe it. But it's worth discussing.
Nah, it's not.
Is it more impressive than the Marvel franchise? And I say it's more impressive. I didn't say it's better. Now, I did a very ambiguous
Is it more impressive?
post.
Is Mission Impossible, like the Mission Impossible movies, are they more impressive than the 10 years worth of Marvel movies?
Yes.
The 17 or 18 Marvel movies?
And this is why I say this, and this is why, like I said, I don't 100% agree with my own point, but it's worth discussing.
Wait, why would we discuss it if you don't even agree with it?
Because we host an hour show, and there's nothing out right now. And this seemed to get people fired up, and
It's
I like
always
that.
the truth.
I like that.
Okay, all right.
I'm not hiding it. These are
you're
good
not.
discussions, right? So
Yes.
immediately I got a whole bunch of blowback, except from Tom Hutchinson, who didn't like Infinity War because it was only a part 1. He wanted a complete movie. He says Mission Impossible 6 is a complete movie. That's better, so I give him that.
What? That's also nonsense.
But Mission Impossible 6, first of all, it's the 6th movie in the franchise.
Right.
So that's impressive in and of itself that it can do as well. I mean, think about the 80s, right? If you were lucky if the second movie even came close in quality to the first movie.
True.
All right?
But that's all the movies we have now, movies that are franchises. Mm-hmm. We don't really have individual movies anymore. Except for Meg, which is coming out tomorrow.
and then if it does well, it becomes a franchise.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Well, no, I agree with
but
that.
It probably won't, because it won't do that well.
I agree, but
coming out on the Thursday.
To me, the fact that they can come out with 6 movies, the fact that this movie can be better than even the previous 5 installments, and they get one movie every 3 years. Marvel, look, Infinity War is amazing, right? Because it's a culmination. And I'm not knocking it. Look, at the end of the day, we're debating, like, what's chocolate ice cream versus vanilla ice cream. Like, they're all good. Like, or pepperoni pizza versus meatball pizza. There's no bad pizza. You know what I mean? We're all debating good stuff now. But I feel like it's more impressive the fact that they don't have 1,800 movies to build a narrative to this crescendo that Marvel has done. I mean, even look at DC. DC couldn't even do that correctly to a point where you could enjoy a solo movie. Mission Impossible comes out. It has a running storyline. It has a recurring character. It has a recurring team that you're looking forward to, and delivers. I mean, some of the best action scenes I've seen. Some of the best stunts. There's CGI obviously somewhere in there, but there's also a lot
but
of.
You can't really see it.
Yeah.
Like you know it's there. You know, you know, like, okay, that had to be CGI, but you don't. It's so seamless.
Yeah.
That, or even if you can recognize that that's CGI, it blended so well that you didn't care. You were like, oh man.
No, I know. I do believe. No, I'm gonna sound stupid if I say this.
Say it.
I was gonna say
you sound stupid
when he
all
jumps
the time.
out of the plane, that's got to be CGI though. But I heard he jumped out of the plane.
Yeah, but
though.
Tom Cruise does all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Tom Cruise is. Forget Ethan Hunt. Tom Cruise is a superhero. He broke his ankle doing these things. Like, it's crazy.
Well, then
or
he's
his arm,
not, because Batman
arm.
never broke his ankle.
Well, no, Batman breaks his ankle, and then he breaks his back, and then he disappears for like an hour.
He has his back broken.
Right.
And then someone punches his back together, and then he climbs a wall.
Yeah.
That's what happened in The Dark Knight Rises. They punched his back.
Yeah.
Back in. I didn't write it. I'm sorry, Sam. Sam's looking at me like I'm insane. I'm like, yeah, that's what happened. They punched him until his back went back in.
So let me ask you a question.
Terrible movie. It's a terrible film.
Can we count Mission Impossible as a superhero franchise?
No.
All right. What's the criteria for a superhero franchise?
I don't know what the criteria is. Superhero franchise is like the sky's the limit. You know? Like anything can happen in a superhero franchise. These movies...
Well, okay. Does it need someone
crime
in
thrillers,
a
action adventure thrillers do have a basis in some kind of reality. They are tethered by laws of physics, for the most part. No one's gonna fly around the Earth the wrong way and set time backwards when a bomb goes off that they don't like, or or God knows, like I'm thinking only of Superman, like throw things into the sun.
Well, let's
or
say this.
Captain America, how he jumps out of a plane without a
Because
parachute.
even a Die Hard movie. I mean, what was it? Live Free and Die Hard. I mean, like he drives a car through the Asian woman's. Like the Asian woman, he throws the car right through her, and she's like, "Well, that didn't kill me." So it's like, well, wait a minute.
She jumped over it.
No, she didn't. Like she got
jumped over
pinned by it. So it's like, all right, does a superhero movie need to have costumes? Because Unbreakable, no costumes. Sort of costumes. Actually, no, sort of costumes, right? Does it need to have a mythology behind it?
Yes.
Well, I mean, even...
Superhero movie needs to have an origin story for it to be a superhero movie. He has to have some kind of pathology that set him in motion towards being... Yeah, exactly, towards being the superhero in the first place.
Okay.
It's got to be a story of I don't know, disenfranchisement, and the way back from being lost. There's some kind of redemption story.
Okay.
None of that stuff is Ethan Hunt's like, yay. The reason why Ethan Hunt's not a superhero?
Yeah. When we come back. Look, you finally got one.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network. Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday at 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way, on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Joined by my esteemed colleague and co-host, Lord of the Radio.
Lord of the Radio.
Lord of the Radio.
Thank you very much.
Do you have to apply? Do you have to go to college for that? Is there some sort of classes?
I could tell you how to become Lord of the Radio, but then you'd become Lord of the Radio, and I wouldn't be Lord of the Radio
This is
anymore.
very true.
No such thing as co-lord.
No, it doesn't work that way.
It's
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. I want to thank my guest
for last
co-host
Wednesday.
last week, Mr. Darren Sanchez, who was on that drop, which was fantastic. See, look at Sam. It was a perfect world. Perfect world.
Symmetry without him even knowing.
You know,
he
if
was being symmetric.
unfortunately his schedule doesn't work out that he can't do this every week, or else, I mean, Hassan, it's good to have you
It's
back.
unfortunate for all of us.
It's good to have you back. All right, so we were debating whether or not you can count Ethan Hunt as
Nope.
a superhero.
Nope.
And you were about to tell me why.
Nope. Because they give him a choice at the beginning of every movie. Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Spider-Man has a choice. Iron Man has a choice.
No, he doesn't. It's a calling.
All of these superheroes have a choice. Yeah,
No, they don't.
but they even
Spider-Man
explain
does
it
not have a
in
choice.
Mission
After
Impossible-
Uncle Ben died, he doesn't have a choice.
in Mission
Batman
Impossible
after
6.
Batman doesn't have a choice. Superman doesn't have a choice. Captain America doesn't have a choice.
Ethan Hunt can't even have a marriage, which they established, because he doesn't have a choice. He's got to be out there saving the world. So he's got a calling just as much as anybody else
If you
does.
want to call Ethan Hunt, you know what? I'll end this right now. If you want to call him a superhero, you can. That's just dumb. That's
I'm just
plain
saying, it's a
stupid.
superhero franchise.
He's not a superhero. Doesn't have any superpowers, and he doesn't have a costume.
But neither does Batman.
He doesn't have a costume.
He does not have a costume, but neither does Punisher. And Punisher's technically considered
Punisher
something.
does have a costume.
He has a T-shirt.
That's a costume.
Ethan's wearing a shirt.
It's not the same
not a
shirt.
signature shirt.
No,
Yes,
it's not a
signature shirt.
it
So he
doesn't
does. So he
it
does
doesn't
laundry.
say EH on it.
He does laundry. All right, I want to hear what you guys have to think. If you're chiming
Jack
in,
Reacher is more of a superhero than Ethan Hunt.
what about Jack Ryan?
No. Jack Ryan is the same. Jack
No, I
Ryan is
know.
not even James Bond.
I just got the two of them confused. Remember that?
Yes,
from a couple
I
weeks ago?
know,
See?
I know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right.
You're gone for like 1 week, and then all of a sudden you.
No, you could have just let it ride, but no, you decided to correct it, and therefore you
All right.
put the kibosh
Let
on
me
that
ask you another question.
angle
then.
of storytelling.
Let me ask you another question. What are, and we don't necessarily have to include Mission Impossible, what are the top superhero film franchises today? All right? Before
Marvel
you
and
answer,
DC.
See, no. Okay, but we're going to qualify this.
And we're done.
We're going to qualify this, though. DC's not a franchise. DC's a company. Marvel's a company. They're not franchises. It's a cinematic universe, but that's not a franchise. A franchise is a movie, and this we can agree on, right? You have to have more than one movie out, right? You can't be considered a franchise until you have more than one movie.
Or more than one piece of media. So you have a television show and a movie.
No, but I'm talking about.
and
I'm very, very
and
focused
books
right now.
and whatever. That's technically a franchise.
What is the?
You have to have more than one.
No,
a
because I
franchise.
disagree. I'm talking about in theaters right now. Movie franchises. I'm not going to count. I'm not counting like Wonder Woman. She's had one movie.
Wonder Woman's part of the DC franchise, though.
No, but DC's not a franchise. DC is a company.
Would Wonder Woman be under any other brand than DC?
No,
Or
but
would
it's
Superman
like,
be
it's
under
like saying
any other?
that
Would
there's
Wonder Woman or
there's a
or
Dunkin'
Superman?
Donuts corporate headquarters, and then there's Dunkin' Donuts everywhere, right? You're part of the Dunkin' Donuts corporation. Now they franchised you out, which
The
would
Dunkin'
be
Donuts stores are a franchise.
they're part of a franchise, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But they would be the Wonder Woman, they would be the Batman. They're their own franchises. They're their own franchises. Maybe that's a bad analogy.
Yes, it is.
It's correct. I'm always correct, but I think it's a bad analogy just for this because Dunkin' Donuts has
It's
the
terrible.
same name.
The DC is a franchise.
It's not.
Marvel is
It's
a franchise.
not. No.
Fox is a franchise. Fox has
Fox,
their
these
own
are all
super.
studios. These are all studios.
Fox has- but-
these are studios and companies. They're not
But
franchises.
Sony has the Spider-Man franchise.
Right, you just
in
said
and
it.
of
Right,
itself.
exactly right. The
But they've
Spider-Man
turned it into a
The
franchise.
Spider-Man franchise. Right, that's
It's
what we're
a
debating.
title.
That's what we're debating.
It's a title, but they've turned it into a franchise by.
That's what we're debating here. I'm not debating which company is the best company out there. We're not debating that. I want to know what superhero franchise is the best franchise right now. Is Avengers the best franchise right now? Because they had Avengers 2, which everyone except Pat Shan thinks was pretty awful. Captain America, Is that the best franchise? 3 movies out. And again, eliminating Black Panther, eliminating Wonder Woman.
I don't agree that they're called franchises. Therefore, I am not going to.
What would you term them?
Participate. They're titles within the franchise.
Oh, God. All right, so fine.
Look. Marvel Publishing. What do they refer to each and every one of their characters? Each and every one of their comic book issues, their stories. What do they refer to?
It's a title because
they're
it's
titles.
publications.
So therefore, that's how you would describe the movies.
In movies, they're called franchises.
No, it's a movie franchise in and of itself. It's one story. It's one story.
Marvel changed the game on this, though, in the sense that they have an overarching narrative
According
that
to
runs
whom?
through it.
According to whom?
Well, if you go back to the 80s, though, what's Terminator called? Terminator's called the franchise. It's not called Fox. 20th Century Fox is not the franchise.
No. But okay.
So Star Wars. There's no Star Wars franchise.
All of the
then.
so-called franchises belong under one banner.
Yes.
And if they belong under one banner, you would refer to that as the franchise. If they were separate and they didn't all fall under one banner, you might be able to call them franchises separately.
So for the sake of having 1 hour to talk about this.
And Star Wars is a franchise.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not Fox. It's not 20th Century Fox.
No, you're thinking Lucasfilm.
Well, it was Lucasfilm. But 20th Century Fox was the distributor.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but okay, fine. Lucasfilm's not the
But
franchise.
they still call it Disney. They still say it's Disney Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, because the Star Wars part's the franchise.
But if Solo came out, Solo wouldn't be a franchise. It's part of the Star Wars franchise. You see what I'm saying? If they did more than one Solo movie, that's not a Solo franchise. Solo is part of the Star Wars. That's why they call it a Star Wars story.
All right. So then, if we're gonna go by that logic, which is not correct, but we don't have enough time. So
I don't see how it's not correct.
Thor is a title.
Thor is a title.
Captain America is a title.
Captain America is a title.
What's the
Ant-Man's
best
a title.
What's the best superhero
out of the Marvel franchise, or out of all of them?
Out of all the franchises. I mean, technically speaking,
what are the criteria for being the best? Just your favorite, or
the strongest showing?
Captain America.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's got to be that was my number one instantly. What about Guardians? And there's only been 2 now. That's okay though. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have 3. It's not the best trilogies out there.
I would say Guardians is probably my favorite, but it's not stronger than the Captain America movies.
I think I agree with you on that.
Captain America 1 is a fantastic movie, which really shouldn't have been, in my opinion. I was very surprised at how great Captain America was.
Yeah.
Then Winter Soldier, even a better movie. Civil War was a good movie.
Civil War was still an excellent movie. It had a very bad ending.
It was a good movie. It had a lot of pieces in it that were just kind of franchise specific.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen the Captain America movies are pretty solid. They're pretty strong films.
Yeah, I would say that. What about Deadpool?
No.
Did Deadpool 2 knock it down enough for you? Was Deadpool 1
I was
far
never
superior?
I think those movies are great, for what they are.
Yeah.
But that's, that humor gets old fast. And the second movie, the humor was getting old while I was watching it.
Yeah.
So, for me personally, I'm happy that those movies exist. I'm happy for that franchise, the strength of that franchise. I think we need it because it is a divergent from the superhero motif, I guess, and the superhero format. But after a while, that humor starts to grate
Alicia
on
Davis, excellent, wonderful guest on our show. Ant-Man stunt woman, or stunt driver, I should say. Deadpool for the win. She thinks Deadpool's the best one.
That's fair.
I think it's tough to call that. Jeff Gomez, one of our Uber guests, he thought the sequel knocked it down a peg as well too. Like if you had to think of
I don't know if it, in my opinion, because Jeff knows about that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to dispute him. For me, it didn't. It was more of the same. It was on par with the first one, but like I said, that humor kind of grates on me. So I don't know if it takes it up or knocks it down.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were looking for.
Yeah.
With the some people want to follow up to be like a broader, bigger experience than the original one. And some of us, there's some people like me who I just want it to be on par with the first one, and then I could be happy. I just want more of the same.
What is the M. Night Shyamalan Unbreakable franchise?
I don't know. I haven't seen the third one.
We haven't seen the third one yet, but that's okay. Doesn't mean it is. It is.
I thought Unbreakable was okay. Split was not, to me, not interesting until the last few seconds when I saw that it tied in to sorry if you didn't see it, Sam. I said the same.
It ties in. That's all you need to know.
It ties in, and then like I was like looking at Mr. Glass, the trailer for it, and the trailer kind of turned me off to it.
Yeah.
Because, just seeing the three of them in a mental asylum and like,
I love, though, when Samuel L. Jackson says, this looks like the bad guys teaming up. Because that was one of the best parts to Unbreakable to me was subliminally you are watching a comic book movie, you're watching a breakdown of what a superhero comic book mythology is right in front of you, but you don't know it until it's eventually kind of like put in front of you, and you're like, I'm watching a comic book movie. This is, where did this come from? How did this happen? So I kind of like, hearing him say that kind of brought me back to that initial, like, what made Unbreakable, very good. What's the weakest one out there right now? I'm going to say Thor.
X-Men.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, you got me on that. Yeah, you got, oh, boy, you got me on that. Oh, baby, you came back firing after your little week off.
I can't do
You're
X-Men.
absolutely right, you're right.
You're
right. No.
I don't even, and they canceled them.
Yeah.
Well,
no, Dark Phoenix?
I heard, and I might be misinformed, so you'll inform me so the show doesn't dip. I heard that Dark Phoenix and New Mutants was canceled.
New Mutants was pushed. Dark Phoenix was pushed. Dark Phoenix is supposedly coming out in February of next year. And New Mutants is supposedly coming out in April of next year. They film new scenes.
Now, how are you going to have the New Mutants when you have Darker Minds or Darkest Minds that's out right now? Like, how is it? Stop it!
I just don't know.
Stop. They're so trying really hard to kill the genre, the superhero genre.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can do about it. Everyone has to cash in.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to try to cash in. So.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to rejuvenate the genre. We're going to rejuvenate comics in general. We've got Adrian Wassel from Vault Comics. They're doing some really awesome things in the sci-fi and fantasy realm in comics, and we're going to learn all about their company and why you need to be checking them out now, because they are going to be your next TV movie obsessions next year.
All right.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth Tripp, your host of Nourish the Soul. Join me to uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to living a healthy life. Join us every Wednesday at my new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
contemplating how to do this, you being on camera next week.
I'm gonna go get some sun then. Get ready. Don't read into it.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
That was,
class.
that was very racially
Have some class.
insensitive.
See, there it is.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
see, you ruined it. It was a subtle nod to it now, and you just kind of hit it over the head with a hammer.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc, talking comics, movies, TV, and pop culture. We let off last segment with the best superhero film franchises. Today, our crack staff producer, Sam Leibowitz, brought up an article which once again proves that I'm correct, in that all of the movies are considered a franchise. Marvel is not considered a franchise. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is considered a franchise. And the DC Extended Universe is considered a franchise.
That's
But the
reasonably what I
companies
said.
Marvel and DC are not franchises. So once again, proving that I'm absolutely
God,
100%
are you
correct.
serious?
Are
you serious?
I'm staring at this.
Oh man,
Can't
it's
go
a
wrong.
shame you can't win without cheating.
That's
what I say.
It has.
That's the sad part. That's the saddest part. It's
Captain
not
America,
being able to win without cheating.
It has Thor.
Yes,
it has
indeed. Yes.
All of these Guardians of the
Yes.
Galaxy.
I can fight better than you because I have this gun. Yes.
I'm just.
I'm a better
just
fighter
merely
because
saying.
I'm armed.
We are doing really good. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit here.
That's
We're doing this all summer, all August long. We're going to call it our summer spotlight. I want to spotlight some really cool companies doing some really cool things.
All right.
So with that in mind, I'm welcoming Vault Comics editor-in-chief, Adrian Wassel. Adrian, you there?
I am.
Am
Can
I
you hear me?
mispronouncing your name, by the way?
No, you got it right. Adrian Wassel. Yep.
Oh man! Well, it was the Adrian part that I was having trouble. No, it was definitely. I have a history of butchering names, and hey.
Well, my name has a history of being butchered, so kudos to you for getting it.
Excellent. So Vault Comics, I'll give you a little backstory, and then I want you to give us your backstory. I'm a comic book writer. Hassan's an artist. So we're in the industry. We've been in the industry for 15 years. Worked at Wizard. We did a whole bunch of cool things. We got books out now, et cetera, right? And I'm always looking for, okay, what other publishers are out there that I'm not quite aware of? And Twitter seems to be where I go for this information. And I always keep seeing people retweeting Vault Comics this and Vault Comics. What the heck is Vault Comics? I've never heard of these guys. And then, all of a sudden, over the course of a few months now, you have all these big things. So let me quote your pinned tweet. Failsafe, one of your titles, headed to Netflix. Heathen, headed to the big screen. Deep Roots sold out the same day it came out. Wasted Space sold out. And then you have the Derek Robertson second print cover. Over 50,000 Maxwell Demons out the door for Free Comic Book Day. You guys are killing it, and I don't feel like there's enough exposure that people are kind of aware of this. How did you guys get to this level, and how did you kind of fly in under the radar like this?
Oh man, that's a big question. So let's see. I'll back up to the kind of the beginning. We put our first books on shelves in 2017, February of 2017.
That was last year. That's amazing.
I know. It's been 19 months now, and we launched with two books, Fissure and Heathen, and we had half of an artist alley table that we kind of borrowed from a friend at Emerald City Comic Con, and Heathen just caught fire. That book sold through so many print runs, and we had some really incredible artists attach and come on and support the book with covers like Jen Bartel, and that kind of continued to boost it and take the book to their own audiences as well.
Sure.
And I think that success, that initial success out of the gate, got a lot of eyes on us, but also most importantly, it got a lot of retailers really excited to stock our books because our books were selling really well for them. And comics, it's like that it's that war for shelf space, and retailers
Oh,
really
yeah.
came out in support of us, and that made all the difference in the world. And I think that's really been the sort of catalyst for like this very quick growth that's almost impossible to keep up with most days. So now, fast forward 18, 19 months, we've taken 20 series out to the market. 23 have been announced, so there are 3 more that are on their way. And those 2 movie deals came together very, very quickly and were announced quickly, and obviously those were a big, really big boost to the Vault Comics name. So we're in this weird and really exciting, kind of cool position as a publisher where we have tons of, support and this massive surge, and people were like, oh my God, I read every single Vault title, and it feels like, I'm 20 stories deep into the catalog, and we have people who are like, oh, I'm brand new. I've never even heard of Vault. What's the Vault comic?
Yeah.
It's a really strange position to be in, but it's also a really exciting position to be in.
Just to let everyone know, the headline too is Michael B. Jordan reunites with Black Panther co-writer for Netflix's fail-safe adaptation. So you have, you have big name talent. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. I do some stuff in TV as well too, and I work with a production company, and we're just constantly trying to figure out, okay, how can we bring assets on board to help move this thing forward? And you just happen to have, I don't know, maybe one of the hottest actors in the business, like on board, like immediately.
Whoops.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
It is. It's
how
incredible.
we just stumbled onto that. Like he just happened to be in the hallway when we walked outside, and there he was.
See what happened was.
Yeah, exactly.
He was my neighbor.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I said, Michael, help me out.
My air conditioner broke, and he showed up to fix it. Who knows? Who knew?
The thing is, like, the real story isn't even actually that far off from. I just think it's one of these situations in which the writer of the comic, SJ, has known Michael B. Jordan's family, and obviously Michael and Joe Robert Cole are good friends, and Joe Robert Cole took a look at the comic and was like, whoa, I dig this. He ended up writing a nice little prologue for the trade edition that will be dropping soon. We had an exclusive at San Diego of that some people were, some people got to pick up early. And so he really liked it, and he put together, his sort of vision for it, which I guess really resonated with Michael. And so it was just kind of this thing where they had known each other, and they all saw the story, they got excited.
Yeah.
And that, that made that happen quickly. And it was, we were super, super happy to be partnered with Netflix because, it just means that, it means that there's, it'll be cool to have it on a streaming service.
Sure.
It's a really big name to be associated with the Vault brand, especially like you said, since we're so new. Yeah. So we just couldn't be more excited about how that came together and the fact that it's at Netflix with Michael B. Jordan, Joe Robert Cole. Kind of unreal. Sometimes I still am like, wait, did that actually work out that way? But it did.
So let me ask you a question here too, and this is both a question and a compliment in the sense of a lot of indie publishers. I know a lot of indie publishers. I'm friends with. We've been toiling and we've had successes and highs and lows and whatnot. The quality of art, at least on the cover. The covers for all your books, definitely, and then I've seen some interior art too, is very, very high. Mostly when you see indies, some indie publishers, their story could be great, but you can't get through the art. You guys seem to be able to recruit some top level talent. How do you go about doing that, and how does that kind of come together? Because that's the thing that strikes me. Like when I look at your books, it's like, no, this is professional, and that's what I always strive with anything I self-published, and I try not to self-publish anymore. But anything I do is. It's got to be professional, and you guys have like a very high, like the Friendo cover looks like sick and amazing. Like, how do you guys recruit the talent that you guys utilize?
Well, let me start by saying thank you. I mean, that quality of content, but also just production and feel of the books, all that stuff is so important to us because we're such lifelong, diehard comic nerds, and the way we go about sort of recruiting, was mostly organic. So my brother, who I run the company with, he's the publisher. I'm editor in chief, and my cousin Nathan, who's done a bunch of art for our books. The three of us got started, I guess 7-8 years ago. We made not even a whole comic, like half a comic, called The Gifted, and we took it to Ape. I'm not even sure if that show is still around. That convention's still around. It's in San Francisco.
Okay, yeah.
And we took it there, and people loved it. We need more, we need more, we need more. And so for a couple of years, we did that convention circuit. We went to a bunch of shows, and we self-published and sold our own book, and sold our own books, and we met incredible creators who got to know us as creators and people first. And there was never any sort of feeling of the icky business side of things because they were creators. We would sit over beer or food or whatever, and they talk about all these stories that they wanted to tell. Artists too, all these sort of styles they've never gotten to play with, notebooks filled with things that they wanted to explore, but a lot of publishers wouldn't greenlight. And so when we started putting our brains together for Vault and looking at the market and thinking hey, there's this wealth of content out there that nobody's publishing, and how could we position ourselves to do this? It was pretty easy to bring a lot of these now good friends of ours on board very early, like Jackson and Colin, Jackson Lands and Colin Kelly, who've written for a bunch of stuff for DC and did Joyride at Boom, and they did ZojaCon with us, and they've got another book coming out with us, a book with Brandon Sanderson titled Dark One. And they came to us early on and were like, hey, nobody's going to publish this crazy book called ZojaCon that you can't even barely pronounce except for you guys, because you guys know it as friends and fellow creators. And we would love to do it. It's a passion project. And so very early on, before we even had a logo, we had people coming to us and saying, hey, would you want to do this thing that we've talked about for years as friends? And so the quality was there because the creators that sort of jumped on board right at the beginning were people that had been doing this on their own for a long time, or had been doing it successfully at other publishers and had a particular story they really needed to tell.
Sure.
So it was, and that's not to say we don't have a lot of new people in our catalog, because there are a lot of new creators, a lot of emerging creators that hadn't really seen success elsewhere or before, who came on and had great success, and with their first books with us. So we did definitely have to do some scouting and some careful, review of pages to make sure that they could live up to that standard that we set. But really, the biggest part was just that sort of organic friends coming who've been making comics their whole life, come hell or high water, with passion projects. And so it shows, the quality shows through.
Very, very cool. Very cool. All right, tell the audience where they can find you guys and what you guys got coming out.
Yeah, so we should be on in every local comic store out there. If your store isn't stocking Vault comics, hopefully it'll be super easy to convince them to stock it, or at least add any series to your pool. We're in Diamond Previews catalog, so every month, every retailer's comfortable just going straight to our catalog and be like, yeah, sure, we can put that on your pool. And we're on Comixology. Our website, we often offer free number ones for series when we're a couple issues in, to get people, who maybe missed that number one, because we know we're still a new brand, to jump in and read stuff for free and get excited. And our trades are in all the bookstores too. So Barnes & Noble, Amazon, you can find them kind of anywhere. And what we've got coming, next month, September 26th, we're dropping Friender number one and Fearscape number one. Actually, today, Declan Shalvey was live tweeting his cover for Fearscape number one. That book has, I don't know if we've ever had quite the initial reception that we've been getting with Fearscape #1. Like 10 out of 10 reviews across the board.
That's awesome.
Huge artists pouring out in support of it, and creators too. It's been really, really cool to have like people like Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey and Declan and all these huge names. Like, oh man, I love this book. Warren Ellis wrote about it in his newsletter. So yeah, those two, Fearscape #1, Friendo #1, dropping September 26th. You can pick them up at any comic book store in the country. Just got to tell the person behind the desk.
Awesome. Adrian, thank you so much for joining us. Check out Vault Comics. You can also check them out online, social media, at The Vault Comics on Twitter, The Vault Comics on Instagram, and Vault Comics Official on Facebook. Adrian, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, when we come back, we go spinning the racks.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth Tripp, your host of Nourish the Soul. Join me to uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to living a healthy life. Join us every Wednesday at my new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
I had a ticket bought for me by, by an enthusiastic friend.
Did you know that that friend now asked me to go?
So does that mean I don't have a ticket anymore?
This is correct. This is correct. I actually passed it on to Sam, so now Sam is going with your friend.
With my friend.
To the show.
Well, now I have a lot to say about this. And none of it's good. Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. I want to thank our guest, Adrian Wassel, for coming on. They're doing some really cool things. And yes, we definitely got to have him back on again to talk about Friendo and Fearscape and Failsafe and find out what these projects are about, too. I mean, it's, to me, being in the industry, like to see someone and see a company pop up so quickly, I got to know how they did it. Like that to me is always like a secret, you know, but...
You got to have friends who have Michael B. Jordan living next door.
That doesn't hurt, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's all about who you know. I mean, there's no question about
Absolutely.
it. But people were
I've been trying to know people for a long time. It doesn't work.
And the best you got was me. And that's it. Like, that's the best you got.
And I don't know where I put you in that category.
So we're going to have him back on again before Failsafe emerges as well on Netflix,
that'd be
because
cool.
I'd like to know some more. All right. We do this every week. We go spinning the racks. The most fantastical pop culture news out there. The funny thing is, if you did quit the show and or got fired, that would remain. So you'd be there.
Yeah.
You'd be there no matter what. All right.
Yeah.
Got a lot of excitement here. I actually flirted with opening with this. The Oscar goes to Deadpool, Black Panther. It looks as if the Oscars are in for some big changes here. The Academy's Board of Governors has approved several major changes to the tradition-bound ceremony's format in hopes of retaining the dwindling numbers of Oscar viewers. On Tuesday night, just 5 months after the lowest-rated Academy Awards telecast, the Academy Motion Pictures not only re-elected their cinematographer as its president, but also approved several major changes to the tradition-bound ceremony. There's a bunch of stuff about how they're going to announce different categories, but that's not what matters for us.
What matters for us?
What matters for us is they are now incorporating a new category for outstanding achievement in popular film.
Outstanding achievement in popular film.
Adding that eligibility requirements and other key details will be forthcoming. So basically, people
outstanding achievement in popular film.
Basically, a popcorn award. You are getting a popcorn award.
Doesn't MTV do that already?
And you know what? Just point of fact, he has not read the outline before because he was actually out seeing Mission Impossible 6, which we just reviewed.
Yeah. Which we didn't just review, even though I saw it.
I saw it too. It was great. But they actually, in the Hollywood Reporter story, talk about that people think it cheapens the prestige, making it more like the People's Choice Awards or the MTV Movie Awards. I'm gonna go with my old favorite. This is my favorite. It's my standby. The sports analogy. People are all about baseball right now, and saying baseball's got to change. In the 10th inning, we're gonna have a runner on second. Because you need to speed it up. You need to speed up the game. You need to change the game because the young viewers they're not gonna watch baseball anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't have to drastically do things. You just have to be a little smarter about what you're doing. I feel like this is kind of like that baseball argument.
Do you think it's a matter of marketing? Do you think if you market something better, you could sell something to anybody? Or do you think there are some things that are just passé and they just pass their prime and nobody cares anymore?
There is that angle. There is that aspect to. What was popular in the 1940s is not going to be popular now.
Right.
So
maybe the Academy Awards is just on its way out.
Maybe, but not the prestige of winning the award though. And I think that's really at the end of the day, isn't that what the whole?
But if it's not televised, it's not done in this grandiose manner with all this, all Hollywood royalty sitting in the same auditorium, watching you get your award and you snaring at them and giving them the finger and everything like that.
You know what's going to happen, though?
Then that's just not the same kind of experience.
It's not the same snobbery that we've come to grow and love. You know what's going to happen, though? You're going to have a movie like Black Panther. They're already talking about that. And people are already lobbying for it to not be nominated for this popular film category, but instead be nominated for Best Picture.
Best Picture.
You're gonna have these things where it's almost
okay. The Academy Awards has done this to themselves a couple of times because they do tend to gravitate to Best Picture on movies that a lot of people have never seen.
Yes.
That don't get mass distribution.
Yes.
So nobody's seen it.
Yes.
Now, I think that actually legitimizes their brand because they think this is the best picture.
Yeah.
Even if whether you've seen it or not.
You even asked this question on the way over here. What's the difference between Best Picture and achievement in popular film?
That's what they're going to have to explain.
Yeah.
Because is it like they never release the parameters of what makes something a Best Picture versus what is the most popular picture.
Right.
Because in one year Gladiator won.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to tell me the Gladiator is on par with say Schindler's List or something like that, yeah.
Are you not entertained?
That's what I'm saying. It's not. They're not quite the same. And also that one time that Braveheart won.
Yeah.
Well,
Braveheart's amazing. I think Braveheart's
it's an amazing movie, but is it a meaningful, thoughtful piece of cinematic art?
Yeah.
No.
It's about struggle.
Everything is about struggle. Everything in the world is about struggle.
It's before we knew Mel Gibson was an anti-Semite. I mean, it had a lot of really redeeming qualities.
Your average rom-com movie is about struggle. Okay, it doesn't. Nothing is.
American Pie was a struggle.
That was a struggle to continue watching after the pie scene. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. So
there was no struggle with Shannon Elizabeth. Go ahead. Yeah.
Once you got to that part.
Yeah, I know.
Once you finally got there. There's a struggle up to that.
We've digressed into 12-year-old boy syndrome.
You did. I'm just kind of. I'm just peeking in the door. You're already.
Look, I am.
You're already playing in the room.
I'm putting you back on camera because they can't see your face before because I had a Deadpool shot showing. Which, by the way, amazing graphic on my part.
Oh my God, the show is degenerated. So anyway, that's the bottom line.
We're gonna follow this as it goes. I'm curious to see what these requirements are.
Look, just advertise it better. Or make it more relevant, make people more interactive with it.
Yeah.
Have the Academy Awards tweet more. Look at it, we're working for certain figures of our
Well, actually, for
certain figures of large prominence in our society.
For some, that's all they have left. Oh, see what I did there?
Yeah.
Real world. All right,
Yeah,
make it so. Patrick Stewart returning to
Yeah.
Star Trek. Star Trek's Captain Picard.
They don't even have
returns
scripts for it
CBS
yet, though.
series.
So
He
yay.
basically told I guess folks it is an unexpected but delightful
Star
surprise
Trek is
to
a
find myself
franchise.
excited and be invigorated to be returning to Jean-Luc
to
Picard.
the Star Trek franchise.
Yes, that is a franchise.
Mhm,
It is.
mhm.
I 100% agree.
See, Next Generation in and of itself is not a franchise. Star Trek is a franchise. I rest my case.
Does Next Generation have 3 movies?
Thank you, Jesus.
Does it have more than 2 movies?
Huh?
Does Next Generation?
Next Generation has 4 movies.
But is it titled Star Trek Next Generation Part 2 or Star Trek Next Generation blah blah blah?
No, they're just called Star Trek.
Correct.
Star Trek Nemesis.
Correct. So Star Trek Next Generation is not. But you didn't go see Marvel Cinematic Universe Thor, and you didn't go
You see Marvel's
Cinematic
Thor.
Universe.
It's called Marvel's, and then all the TV shows are also called Marvel's.
We're not talking about TV shows. We're talking about movies, and we're talking
It's
about.
called Marvel's
It's not
Thor.
called Marvel Cinematic Universe Thor: Dark World.
Yes, it is.
That's the official
Yes,
title.
it is.
All right, we're gonna fact check you for next week.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Finally, Supergirl movie in the works. Supergirl is flying back to the big screen.
That's a good
in
idea.
30 seconds or less.
Undermine your
Why
TV show by
doing
bringing out a
that?
movie that will have nothing to do with your TV show,
Yeah,
and then
like,
make sure
what's the
that all coincides becomes a giant mess and a cluster, and and hamstring both franchises because they would be franchises.
Yeah, next
part
week
of the DC franchise.
our summer spotlight continues as we welcome Source Point Press's Casey Pierce. Talk about their new exciting line of books. I like finding these diamonds in the rough. I love these companies that are doing some amazing things. When we come back next week, coming up next, the Governor's House.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.